A man named Richard, a Harvard educated fund manager, sat in front of three glowing monitors in 2008, watching something he could not accept as real. His portfolio was collapsing in real time. Millions disappeared. Then tens of millions. He had data, models, forecasts, decades of experience, and yet none of it stopped the fall. In just 4 days, he lost $40 million. Not because he was careless, not because he lacked intelligence, but because his mind refused to accept what was already happening. And that is where this story becomes uncomfortable. Because Richard is not rare. Richard is normal. He is what happens when a brilliant brain meets its own blind spots. The human brain was never built for perfect decisions. It was built for survival. For most of human history, hesitation meant danger. So the brain evolved to decide quickly, not accurately. It created shortcuts, mental rules that work well enough to keep you alive. But those shortcuts never evolved for modern life. They were never meant for markets, careers, relationships, or complex systems, yet you still use them every day. Your brain is solving 21st century problems with Stone Age tools, and most of the time, you do not even notice it happening. One of the most powerful of these shortcuts is confirmation bias. The moment you believe something, your brain quietly changes its behavior. It starts collecting evidence that supports you and ignoring evidence that challenges you. Not because you choose it, but because it feels right. Information that agrees with you feels smooth, logical, obvious. Information that disagrees feels wrong, even threatening. This is why two intelligent people can look at the same situation and walk away with completely different truths. They are not seeing different facts. They are filtering the same facts through different minds. And once a belief forms, the brain does not want truth anymore. It wants consistency. Richard fell into this trap completely. As the market began shifting, warning signs appeared everywhere. Analysts raised concerns. Data started changing. Risk models began flashing red. But Richard did not see danger. He saw noise. Every piece of conflicting information was dismissed, reframed, or explained away. He only noticed what confirmed what he already believed. And the more confident he became, the more invisible his blind spots grew. Intelligence did not save him, it reinforced him. His mind built a perfect argument that protected the wrong decision until it was too late to escape it. Then comes the sunk cost fallacy, one of the quietest traps in human psychology. It begins with something simple. You invest time, money, effort, or emotion into something. Then it starts to fail. Logically, the best decision is to stop, but your brain refuses because stopping feels like losing everything that came before it. So instead of asking whether it still makes sense to continue, you ask how to avoid wasting the past. That question feels reasonable, even responsible, but it is a trap. The past cannot be recovered. Only the future can be protected. Yet people stay in failing businesses, broken relationships, and collapsing plans, not because it is smart, but because letting go feels like admitting the earlier pain meant nothing. Overconfidence makes this even worse. There is a strange pattern in human thinking. When people know little about something, they often feel extremely confident. When they truly understand it, they become careful, even uncertain. Beginners see simplicity. Experts see complexity everywhere. But confidence sounds like competence. So we trust the people who speak with certainty, even when certainty is often a sign of ignorance. Richard was not inexperienced. He was experienced enough to feel confident, but not cautious enough to see what he was missing. And that combination is dangerous because confidence does not measure truth. It only measures how convinced your brain feels. And underneath all of this is something even more powerful: emotion. Most people believe they make decisions logically and then feel emotions afterward. The truth is the opposite. Emotion decides first. Logic explains later. Fear makes risks feel larger than they are. Excitement hides consequences. Anger removes nuance. And then your mind builds a story that makes the decision feel reasonable. This is why people can make choices that feel completely right in the moment and look completely irrational later. They were never fully rational to begin with. They were emotionally decided and logically justified. So how do you escape a system like this when you are trapped inside it? The answer is not perfection. It is interruption. You do not stop cognitive biases from existing. You interrupt them before they fully take control. You create a small gap between impulse and action. In that gap, you ask different questions. What evidence would prove me wrong? If I started from zero, would I choose this again? Am I defending truth or defending my identity? And the most dangerous question of all, what if I am wrong? Because if there is no possible answer that could change your mind, then you are not thinking. You are protecting. Richard eventually learned this the hard way. He did not lose everything, but he lost enough to stop, enough to finally question himself instead of the market. And the first time he asked, "What if I am wrong?" he did not feel clarity. He felt something worse, uncertainty. But that uncertainty was the beginning of better thinking. Because intelligence is not the ability to be certain, it is the ability to survive uncertainty without lying to yourself. And the moment you realize that your brain is not designed to tell you the truth, but to keep you confident, everything changes. Not the world, the way you see it.